for being in the video.
Good morning, everybody. That's the next episode of Healthy Through Knowledge. I welcome Clarkson from ex-Bwindi and Angela from Malakai Ecology. We were just discussing this morning our findings about the effect of food on our health. And you made a Google research this morning. I made a Google research this morning. And we found something a bit disturbing. I was looking for damaging health effects of cabbages. What did we find, Clarkson?
We found out that there were like 9 clicks. We were supposed to be talking about them, but only one was talking about the negativity of eating the cabbages. 9 of them were talking about the impressive things that you get from eating cabbages. Absolutely no.
What does it tell us if you look for something damaging and they show you the positive effects of cabbage? Well, what do you think, Angela? What could be the reason behind that?
I think people don't know what they do, because you end up someone eats something without knowing what will be the effect afterwards. So, for example, I used to eat carrots, and let's say carrots. They used to tell us they are good for the eyesight. They open up eyes. But when you eat them, at the end of the day, you find out they're really bad, and actually they do nothing.
How did you find out about it?
On my side, I used to get actually fever when I used to eat that thing, the carrots. And the bad thing about the onions, when I used to eat these round onions, they are really very bad. They do me bad, very bad. And when I eat spring onions, they are really very, very good on my side.
Yeah. Concerning the same point, concerning with a Google issue, you talked about the point of how does it feel when you write something and you want the negativity of eating cabbages, and you get the opposite of what you are talking of what you have written, what you are searching on. It gives me a clue that people have no idea on what they are talking about, and 95% they don't have the originality. They are copying from the friend. That is the reason that's why people are being misled by this Mr. Google. People, they are really, they don't have their own source of information. You get me? Yeah.
Definitely.
So they are just copying, they are shifting from one source to another. A reason as why it has now become very, very terrible.
So what happened to your mother and some family members just 2 days ago?
Yeah, just 2 days ago, I just called them. I had a phone call, and they told me they are bedridden. Then I thought maybe...
No, you did not think I told you to ask them what were they eating.
Yes, I didn't realize that it was maybe food. Then it's when you told me that maybe they might have ate something wrong. Then it's when I called them again, and they told me for 3 consecutive days they have been having a sauce, a combination of bad stuff. That was the nuts mixed with the cabbages. Terrible. Yeah.
And then what kind of issues, health issues, did they get?
So the health issues they are having, they are passing out watery stool, all of them. I can term it as diarrhea, and the sign they have general body weakness. They have blocked nose. As in flu, but they have the breathing difficulty and general body weakness as well.
Angela, do you remember what happened the weekend a week ago to our staff?
Yeah, we have
What happened?
We have a friend, a staff called Carol. That lady, she ate matoke, and then the following day she was badly off. You can't believe this, but it's true. She went to the hospital, and then they told her she has was it diarrhea? But
Typhoid.
Typhoid, yeah. And
they diagnosed it as typhoid.
Yes, that's what the hospital said. But I couldn't believe that. And I told, you asked her,
yes,
what did you eat? And she was like, I ate rice, and she was hiding that.
Absolutely.
So until I told you it was matoke with some ginat, I remember was ginat. So the following day, and she fell sick after eating that matoke. The following day, she felt that sick. So I was like, actually we got the answer ourselves. That was matoke. So at times we don't know what we do, and we just eat. Yeah.
They did a very bad thing. They had ginat sauce, and they left that ginat sauce for the next day.
Yeah.
So most likely overnight that ginat sauce caught fungus. a mold, but I didn't see it, or you cannot even see it.
Cannot see it.
And we lost 50% of our staff
Yeah.
in one day.
Yeah.
3 or 4 were hospitalized.
Yeah.
Mugisha has not been seen for days. He was so badly off. So if people could just listen to that. And then we had a driver from Moroto.
He said he ate cassava.
Yeah, he came here with a severe headache, stomach issues. He was completely sick. And he told me that 3 of his kids were hospitalized. So people are spending money for issues which could be easily solved that would never even occur.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the first point. They would never even happen if you knew what you were doing. So we were up in your area, Bwindi, 3 times, and you gave, I think, 10 speeches.
Yeah,
But what do you think is the reason that people are not really listening?
That's a very good question. Very good question. You know, this thing we are talking about, people have never come up with that kind of our thinking, that kind of idea to talk about this. It sounds somehow terrible if someone has been eating GesunddurchWissen for years and years.
Decades.
They have a saying that even my grandjaja
grew up
ate
eating
my
that.
toke. Then they were there. But now the point is, the generation before is not the generation today. That's why even the life expectancy that was there in the past has now been diluted today.
Yeah.
So that drives me to a point that people it's going to be somehow very hard for people to understand, but we are just going to keep talking about the same issue. Then 95%, actually that's why we are poor. You are finding out that the small issues which could be solved by you just eating the right food, then eat something the opposite, and you are taking the hospital and they are charging you over 800,000, and on the other hand you don't have even a sheep, you don't have a goat at home. You find out that now you have to go and borrow in a certain circle, you get a loan to pay for the money.
Really?
In the hospital, yes, this is serious. That actually, I think the existence of hospitals, so far the experience I have got, when I started with you, I found out that hospitals is like a business. That's why people are establishing hospitals, because in our way people are going to be sick and they're not going to talk about the truth. They are going to go to some doctor who has studied books and is going to tell you that for your size to be very well, you have to eat low carrots, you have to eat half-cooked cassava, you have to eat half-cooked cabbages and other stuff. Instead, he has no clue on what he's talking about. For example, me, I suffered the problem of the eyes it's like over 12 years, but what killed the eyes a long time ago, it was that stuff. I could go to the hospital, then they would say for the eye problem, then you have to eat carrots, and you have to eat them when they are low.
I had an eye surgeon here as a guest a few days ago from the Netherlands. And first of all, she said something very, very important. She said cassava is damaging the eyesight nerve. And she said that black people are much more affected by the so-called green star. That means they turn blind much, much more often than white people. This is also a very scary finding. Yeah? So you destroy your body, you don't know what you do, you pay a hefty price, you suffer a lot, and then you don't even acknowledge that you made a mistake.
Exactly.
So we are all Christians,
Yeah,
and I'm shocked, honestly, and I'm wondering almost every day, why are Christians not listening? Why are Christians not listening? It would solve most of our problems. And Christians are very sick. Very sick.
Yeah.
But some people may ask themselves, what can we eat? Because we're stopping them cassava, this other stuff. But we have a lot of things we could eat. We we have sweet potato. We have big lands, but we don't know how we don't utilize our lands.
So you're also a Christian. Why have you never invited Mr. Clarkson to give a speech about this mostly beneficial teaching?
I'll need to get a day, one Sunday, and then invite him.
Now today you invited him on Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that invitation still standing?
Well, I need to first confirm about the program at church, and then we see how we could handle it. Yeah.
Then I would be very glad.
You can talk to people and
Then
Anything else to say? Yes.
yes. Yesterday, I remember I have just been at school, so there is a certain lady. She's a candidate so far. Then I was communicating with her. Then I was trying to know what kind of life, how are people surviving. I was like, how are people surviving in their area? On finding out that people are really, if you talk to someone and you reach deep, and when you're communicating with somebody, you are going to find out that people have got challenges. People are becoming sick and they are going to the hospital after 3 days. Then again, you become somehow, they give you the so-called painkillers and Panadol and you are charged money. But when the solution is one, I had a complaint when I visited Kanungo. People, when I told them on what they're supposed to eat and what they're not supposed to eat, and they are like, then what should we eat? But the solution is one. We have Kisushuti. But the people, they're up there, they have a saying that it is alleged that the people who eat Kisushuti are the poor ones. The rich ones are eating the bad things instead, which is very, very terrible. But as she said, sweet potato leaves, very good for health. We have this Kisushuti, as I have talked about it, very good. When you take the leaves, when you take that fruit, it's very good for health, and it brings back the roast water in the body.
Let me talk to Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin has been with Malachi for the last few months, right?
Yes.
But you are relatively new to these findings about the impact of bad food on our health.
Yeah.
Have you come to some conclusion meanwhile?
Yeah, actually I've come to some conclusion because I remember the past few days when I ate Irish potatoes, I felt my muscles were so weak. When I slept, I woke up with a headache. So I find it that most of the things that happen to us, we might think that it's sickness, but it's not sickness. But it depends on what we eat.
It is what?
It depends on what we eat.
It's the impact of the bad food.
Yeah, it's the impact of the bad food.
And then you think you are sick.
Yeah, then you think you're sick. You might think that you have malaria. You might think of typhoid. But most cases, it depends on what we eat, the impact of what we eat.
Recently you were very sick. That was about 2 weeks ago. What did you eat then?
I ate Irish potatoes, guineas, and matoke.
Then what happened?
And so after I had eaten that food, I went to sleep. So it was clocking to around 9 p.m. I started feeling so cold. I started feeling I'm so weak. My head started paining, and immediately I slept. The next morning I couldn't even move out. So I felt so bad. But the time I've recognized this, since I stopped eating that food, I see a difference. I'm no longer becoming sick. I follow the right food to be eaten. So now I've also, actually I didn't know if it's true. I was doubting at first. But whenever I eat that food, there is a difference in my life. There is a difference. Either I get a headache, I become weak, or even I feel I'm not physically okay. Yeah.
Any recommendations you can give for people watching that video?
I think I should tell people who are watching this video, they should know one thing. You need to know the right food to be eaten. The moment, actually, you need to make research on what you eat. For example,
But if you research what we did today, you will not find the proper answer. It's completely misleading what they tell us on the internet. Everywhere it's completely misleading.
yeah, it's misleading.
So anyway, if they have questions, they could come to Malachi Ecolodge Chitende and Tebe Road,
Yeah.
and they could ask for advice. We have a free food list which we can send to every and anybody on WhatsApp.
Yes.
We can even show you how to prepare delicious meals just with flowers from the garden. I think that's it.
Then concerning, he talked about a very good point about the Irish potatoes. I made about research and I called a patient. This one is a bit somehow very tricky. according to our blood system. The one can eat a bad food. I eat a bad food, and it takes me one day to become sick, and takes him instantly to become sick.
Yep.
I
true.
have realized that one.
Yes.
So there is that kind of difference. So I landed on a man who was eating Irish potatoes for years and years. It caused the water retention in the body,
That's
and
true.
he could not even walk.
Yes, true.
I remember I gave him a healing mixture when I went up there, but because he had suffered for years, he was walking on a stick. He could not walk. Water retention everywhere in the leg.
Yep.
But recently I was communicating that he was taking the healing mixer regularly. It is not all that very perfect, but there is some kind of a very, very good improvement. They sent me thanks to you, to the kind of the help you are giving people there. May God bless you. I remain Clarkson.
Angela's my name.
What
So,
about you? I tell you about your mother.
Now, this is very important. Listen carefully. My mother, actually, she's been sick for a while. She was sick, yeah. And I used to tell her about the good food to eat. And she was doubting, actually, about that.
Everybody's doubting.
Everyone, yeah. Actually, even myself at the beginning,
Yes.
I used to eat that. But since I came to this family of Shalfat, we used to eat good food here. And then we couldn't eat that bad stuff. I used to eat matoke, these yams, these yams, they're called...
Yeah.
these yams, yeah. So the beans, and then they could bring that bad effect in the body. My mother got sick for a while. She eats posho, she eats these yams, she eats cassava, and it was very bad to stop her from eating that. Until I used to tell her every day, and give her a call, Mom, please. She gets sick almost every week. Yeah, you
True.
know that, yeah. So now I talked about the sweet potato, but the bad thing, she never used to love it, because she used to tell me, when I eat sweet potato, I feel the pain in the stomach.
She feels pain
Yes.
when eating sweet potato.
Yes. I was like, I told her it's because of the posho. I think you always mix up posho with this.
Really?
So try to eat the one thing and then see if there's a difference.
Yeah, good idea.
So
Yes.
I took her some sulfur and then healing mixture, and wherever she takes sulfur, she feels much better. A very big difference. So I had to plant sweet potatoes in our land, and now she used to eat it without eating posho, without mixing that
Yes.
that food. Yeah, and then she felt a very big difference. She was like, yes, you are wise. He told me the good thing. I was like, yeah, that's Andrea's also told me that. So she ate that, and then I told her, actually, you can eat the leaves as well from the sweet potato, that like grains.
Yes, yes.
It will help you a lot. Yeah, actually, she eats it, and there's a very big difference in her life.
Yes.
So I'm really happy for that.
Then, in conclusion on what she was talking about, we think it doesn't need you, that maybe because we are telling you should not eat this, you should not eat this, then you think that the people who should eat the right food are the rich ones. The thing is very simple. You don't need to go and look for fish. You don't need to go and look for rice. Let's say you cannot manage, but there is also a solution for you. If you can afford to buy fish, well for you. If you cannot imagine, then listen very carefully. I think you have a compound, however much small it is. Plant there a small size garden of sweet potatoes. Eat the sweet potato leaves. Get kisosoti. Plant it. It does not need a very big piece of land that you have to first go and rent land to plant that kisosoti. So plant it there, eat the leaves, eat that fruit, then you survive on that rather than risking your life.
And it grows very fast, actually. It doesn't take really long time to grow.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah, you can just plant near the tree on let's say on the jackfruit tree. It can grow very fast.
Yes,
and it
that's
bears
very
many fruits. You can eat a lot.
So now we would like to hear your story. Thank you very much.
Yes, Carol.
Carol, tell us. I mean, you have many stories, but just the one we remember well. 10 days ago, you were hospitalized for even 3 days. But not only you were hospitalized, many people were hospitalized.
Yeah.
What do you think was the reason that you had to go to the hospital? What was the reason that you had to go to the hospital?
I don't know, I think that... Yes? Let me come. I think I ate some bad stuff.
What did you eat?
I ate peanuts
And what else?
and rice
What else?
and matoke.
And then what happened? She has a problem admitting that she's eating matoke. That is very funny. Michael John, you wait now. And then
Wait.
And then I
what happened?
had
How
a stomach ache.
how fast? In what time? Within how many minutes or hours did you get issues?
Within 30 minutes.
Within 30 minutes. And then what happened?
I started to vomit.
Okay. And then?
Feeling some headache.
Uh-huh.
That's all.
And then why did you go to the hospital?
What?
Why did you go to the hospital?
I went to the hospital because I wanted to check up my...
So what did they tell you have?
They told me I have stomach ache and... What? That I have stomach ache and that's it.
So how many days did it take you to recover?
3 days.
You spent 3 days in hospital.
Yeah.
Who paid for the bill?
Malakai Ekolon.
So, and then 3 weeks ago, you were also badly off. You were also very sick.
No,
Yeah, you were very
sick?
sick. You even told my wife that you thought you're going to die.
No, I
yes, you did.
I
Don't
was
lie
just
now.
joking.
You are not.
I was joking.
Oh, you're a good joker. We have realized that. Yes.
Yeah.
So she said to my wife that she thought she's going to die. Why was that? Why was that?
I ate some matoke.
How much did you eat?
I ate little.
You ate very little.
Yeah.
Can you show us with your finger how much did you eat?
Like this.
This here. So you ate very little and it had that impact on you.
Yes.
Then the question arises, why do people eat matoke if the impact is so devastating? Why do you eat, even you felt sick 3 weeks ago, then 10 days ago you